Hey, you're right, Andy.
I'm all right, Si. How are you, my man?
Yeah, no, not bad, not bad. It could be like learning a new language, doing a diet, New Year's resolutions. But then I realized the footy's on.
Oh, yes!
We're back. We're back with the intros.
Pretty in pink.
Yeah, I know. We didn't coordinate this, by the way. This is just going to be the vibe of the show now.
Absolutely. It's how we're feeling, showing the love.
Yeah, that's it. So where do we start this week?
Wow, there's a lot of going on and off the pitch, right? We've got Enzo Maresca's outburst. We've got Messi's little ordeal in India. We've got the Salah off the AFCON conundrum. I guess we start with the Premier League in football. It's a global football channel. So Enzo Maresca, I don't know if you've heard about this one, right? But he had an outburst out of nowhere, an impromptu go at somebody within Chelsea. Did you hear about it?
No, I didn't. Was this only yesterday? I must have missed this completely, or was I've not heard any of this.
Yesterday was the follow up to the outburst. I think it was earlier in the week. It might have been over the weekend
Where have I
even.
been?
Basically, he said he's feeling unsupported. There's not that good will within the club. There's no faith. They didn't strengthen the squad or appreciate what he has to deal with all this fixture power up and the inconsistent results and the players he has to start and injuries. So all the Sky Sports pundits reckon it was a thinly veiled dig directly at like the owners, the director of football at Chelsea. They didn't appropriately give him the squad this season, which is outrageous, right?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was like, don't they have like 60 players, like all on 10-year deals? What's he talking about? I mean, was that it? Like, was that his genuine gripe? Was that he's not? I mean, how is he not? I mean, I don't even know where to start with that.
Yeah, basically, because I reckon, right? He said the worst 48 hours in his Chelsea tenure, right? And this was like right before the match. And I don't, and he's not naming people here and he's not having specifics here. So he could be talking about training, he could be talking about squad options, he could be talking about media backlash and reactions, but it's just out of nowhere. And when he was asked to be specific about it, he said he's got nothing else to say. So why would you do that? Is his position under threat? Is he not going to get the backing in January that perhaps he wants to buy the next 20 under 23 Wonder Kids? Can they not sell another hotel?
There must be something behind the scenes, because by all accounts on the front facing side, it seems like Chelsea are doing quite well, and the players are actually playing quite well, despite having like 6 players in each position. Like, it's like, because the whole narrative before was like how are these players all going to train together, and how are they all going to work with so many players and tied to such big contract? And it's like, so he's spoiled for choice.
That's right.
And in spite of that, like, they weren't even playing that well, and now he's got them playing well. The mood seems to be good around there. I don't get why he would come out with something like this now.
Exactly. Unless he's going for a kind of power play or something like that. He thinks his position's safe and he thinks he's got the leverage where he can bargain a few more extra couple millions to get a player of interest or whatever. But he's done well. He's revitalized Trevor Chalobah, who's got a lot of fantasy football points. He's got Esteval, who looks like a proper player. They've got Cole Palmer, Chippy Chips, Mr. Kebabi, Chippy Chips back as well. So I don't know.
Yeah, things look good. I mean, maybe they could do with, what's their striker situation? Like, that's not
João Pedro.
Maybe is he kind of
Delap.
Oh, João Pedro, yeah. Maybe he's planning for some. He wants to do more business in January, and this is his tactic of going about saying
thrashing
maybe
about.
He has to throw his toys out of the pram. I don't like. It seems very, very. Just like, where did that come from?
Exactly. Out of the blue. And speaking of,
that's a weird one.
Out of the blue as well, Arsenal's form has fallen off a cliff. They barely squeaked. Wolves scored all 3 goals, 2 own goals, and their own goal. 3 own goals, if it were.
Yeah.
And
the one that the first goal where it was like it hits the post, it comes back out, hits off the keeper. I'm glad as a Liverpool fan that I wasn't watching that live, because I think I would have been pulling my hair out at that. But they do seem like they, are stumbling a bit, and even when they were maybe 4 or 5 points ahead of City, you could just kind of tell if there was a graph, one would be going up and one would be going down. I don't know how to do it with my hands, but like, you can see the City are on a bit of an upward trajectory. And I thought even when City were about 4 or 5 points behind, that City would be the ones to watch if we're trying to see who's finishing first and all that, because I don't know. I mean, it would be. I mean, I'm trying to be subjective and not biased, but it would be so funny if Arsenal finished second again. Just, I mean, because like everyone's stumbling. This is the year. This is the year that Liverpool benefited last year from everyone stumbling, and like we were only saying last week, no one seemingly can put a good run of form together. Like if they could just keep it together, but they're obviously part of this too. This weird thing this season where everyone is just kind of, no one can go 3 games with 3 straight wins. It seems
it's going to be a low-scoring Premier League winner, I think. And at the start of the season, funnily enough, Arsenal were second favourites for both competitions, Champions League and Premier League, behind Liverpool, as it were, right? And as you're talking about graphs, I think it's so funny, right? You got Arsenal and City, and where it kind of collides, where one starts shifting, you've got this little black hole, the zone of uncertainty. We're guaranteed Arsenal fall under the gravity and finish second.
But the thing is, like, I find that you can just now. Actually, to be fair, they didn't do it as much in the last game where they scored very late, or they didn't score, but a goal was scored on their behalf in the 95th minute or whatever. But generally, it's that, and I know it's been talked about before, of that sort of like, when Villa scored their winner against them and they just all like collapse and they're banging the ground and all this sort of stuff. And, and then when they win, it's like extra, it's like they've won the cup or something like that. And I just think all of this kind of, it makes them so like so tense. Do you know what I mean? Like that gives me a bit of an insight into their, how they're kind of thinking about things, because if they'd have won the title one of the last 3 years, they would be maybe a little bit more just relaxed and stuff like that. But they seem very tense at all times, and I do think it still stems from Arteta, because you look at what managers can do when they come into a club and they imprint their their philosophy and all that, but they also imprint the sort of mentality. Like you look at what Klopp did at Liverpool, or even Maresca at Chelsea, because Chelsea were a bit like this, and Maresca's kind of kept them steady despite the recent outburst. But I don't know. I just feel like Arsenal are constantly looking over their shoulder at whoever is behind. I mean, Villa are also there, but I don't think they're a serious threat. But with City, I mean, it's just because City have won it so many times that you just
experience.
Think, it's a formality.
The know-how, and it's the personnel and the makeup of Arsenal as well, right? The only one, and you can legitimately say is a winner there, is Zubamendi, who's won things with Spain, right? But he doesn't seem like the most outspoken leadership type. Like Declan Rice is a leader, but he hasn't won anything. And then you look at the big money signing of Victor Gyökeres as well, who's absolutely flopping and sinking. He's so technically limited, runs into half spaces, can't control his feet. Like Šeško and Gyökeres are having a one-off against each other about who can be most technically crap.
The worst. They're having a 2-man battle on who's the worst summer signing. Although, I mean, arguably you could throw Isak.
I was going to say that.
But you know what I mean? If to be honest, but it's. I mean, I don't get it. The Gyökeres thing, like, I haven't seen much of him. Or I seen just
is that general statement.
For Arsenal, full stop. But I mean, I haven't seen, like, barring that the YouTube highlight reels and stuff. I mean, was he playing? Like, is this just how he plays? He's just a big shithouse who he's turns kind of real slow, but he's powerful, and like I don't get what they're looking for from him. Like, what did they see from him?
So basically, he needs the space to thrive in the Portuguese league. They manage to funnel the ball to him. He has the space to operate. He makes the runs in and behind. They can't keep up with his physicality, his battering ram. Everything was service towards him, like how City provide for Erling Haaland, get him into the right spaces, right? But Arsenal are not set up to constantly feed Gyökeres. You've got Bukayo Saka, you've got Martinelli, you've got Trossard, Eberechi Eze. All of these maybe 1 in 5, 1 in 6 goal kind of threats, right? And everyone plays in front of the opposition because they all go in a low block against Arsenal's tiki-taka stylish football. So Gyökeres is struggling slightly from what Liverpool struggled with, in the way that we didn't feed Núñez, we didn't feed Lucho Diaz or Jota when they played up front. And in the same way, Gyökeres without service is, I don't want to say a donkey, but he's very lethargic, let's say. So
I wonder, what team do you think he could put in if he was to move in January to another Premier League team? What team do you think he would thrive in? Do you think he'd thrive better at City?
It'd probably be a Nottingham
Just
Forest. Nottingham Forest, one up top.
Yeah.
Run, chase Chris Wood style.
Yeah. It's true. He'd be competing with Chris Wood for that spot.
And Chris Wood starts.
Chris Wood starts, yeah. He'll rot on the bench.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just thinking about that, I mean, Sesko,
yeah.
is there a sh at that? Yeah. I mean, I haven't even seen him. Like, is he playing every week for United? I feel like I never see him, and I watch United occasionally. I never see him.
Yes, he is kind of really lacking. Like, there's one clip on Twitter I saw where basically he had the ball. He's running on his own on the counter-attack. He's running. The defender's like, okay, go on, Šeško, take us on. He tried this like step over, which took about 5 years to complete. He put it to his right. The defender looked at each other. One of them stuck a foot out, and Šeško ran into him and dispossessed himself. So he ran into Alshash's foot and just fell over, got flattened and tackled, and then counter-attack over.
That's a shame.
He's tall and
it's just. I mean, what has he got? Has he got one goal? Has he scored in the league?
Something like that. And have you seen his celebration? Do you know his celebration?
No.
He runs and does some kind of massive leap in the air, like, I believe I can fly kind of thing. He's like flying in the air. And we've seen it like once this season.
He's just dying to break that out again. Yeah. I'm trying to think in terms of like, who do you think has the best celebration in the Premier League at the minute? You know, like a textbook, you know. Haaland sometimes does the sitting kind of Zen thing.
Yeah.
Which I find looks a bit weird because he's so tall and gangly. Just him getting down in this position. It's like,
to be fair, he's quite funny.
Look right.
He's quite funny. He's quite Zen. But
I actually, do you know, I have to admit, I actually love him, and I think he's class, and I think he's funny, and I think he's got a great outlook. And I think I haven't checked out his YouTube channel yet, but I keep meaning to, because I just think I really like this guy. It's such a shame that he plays for City, but I think he's absolute quality.
Yeah, he's funny. Like, he went after Carragher as well. Like, they're being interviewed for that show, and he was like, "Oh no, it's Carragher. He's absolutely rage-filled or rage-baiting or something at the moment," and just
yeah. It's like Carragher at the minute. It's a bit of a loose cannon or something like that. But do you know what? Like, this sums up Twitter for me as well, or X, because I've seen that clip shared so often, and it's clearly, you know, whatever you watching out there or listening think of Carragher, clearly in that exchange they're having a bit of banter back and forth of like, oh, you know, because he's so, you know, in the media with all the stuff about Salah, and you know, so Haaland sort of making a little joke, and Carragher, you know, whether you love him or hate him, can laugh at himself. And everyone quoting, like in the replies or quote tweets, was just like, doesn't Carragher know that they're all laughing at him? He's so clueless. He's just laughing along. And I mean, like, they just don't like it. Twitter is the worst place for subtlety, or, you know, it's not even subtle. It's clearly obvious, just a bunch of lads having a laugh together.
Exactly.
And it's this thing of like, you know, of just the, you know, Carragher, you know, is just jealous that Salah has more goals than him. And like, you see it so often on Twitter where it's like Carragher has 3 goals for Liverpool. Salah has 250. Who's the... And it's just like, when I see these comparisons on Twitter, I want to just scream. It makes me want to actually create a separate account to just go in after these people. But I'm like, you know what? Just don't.
It's like what Ekitike does. Ekitike made another Instagram account just to take the absolute piss out of everybody. You know, they think he's got some kind of meme account. He does. Yeah, he's got another. I don't know whether it's official or not, but he absolutely like trolls everyone. And I think it has got a tick mark. I'm not sure if it does, but everyone thinks it's his alternate account, because he literally just sounds exactly like Ekitike, but unhinged.
That's brilliant. I'm definitely checking that out, because I'd seen something about that, but I didn't see what the account was. But I'm definitely gonna find that out, because, but like, I think more players should be like that, you know, because I find players like Haaland, like, even, I mean, to a lesser extent, James Maddison, Madders, or just anyone who is just not like the usual, like, the boring sort of, you know, the gaffer is obviously
the robot,
have to respect his decision.
Android,
you know, just the just don't even bother talking. Like, what are you even like? I'm getting no insight here. I would much rather you be like a little bit cheeky or a little bit, just be yourself. It's this whole like media training. Yeah, well, obviously the most important thing is 3 points, and
I know it's a bore. It's an absolute bore.
Thanks.
But on the flip side,
it's a bore.
They can bring it to such a boring extent that becomes legendary. Like, do you remember the boring James Milner?
Yeah. And he owned it as well. That's what I loved about that. Like, he totally owned his boring whatever moniker that he got of like, talking about going home for a Ribena after the match.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, brilliant.
Treats himself to a rich tea biscuit once a year and that kind of thing. But there's another guy as well, like Mike. Do you know Michael Elise? Yeah, Michael Elise at Bayern Munich.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Do you know what his interview style like? His interview style.
Just dead.
Yeah.
Just no.
I played.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yep. No.
I scored. I shot. It went in. I love that.
See, but like, I kind of respect that as well. Like, Cole Palmer's from that school as well. I'm just like, no.
Like, you what?
Like, are you happy with your performance? Yeah. Like, oh, I love that as well.
That's the celebration. That's like, the best celebration in Premier League. The chili.
It is actually, isn't it? It's iconic at this stage. But yeah, I just love players, even if they go like that too far the other end, where it's just like, no, yeah, like not giving them out. Like, why do I need to give you more? If you know what I mean. I just think, and it seems like they've scrapped the halftime interviews. Have they? I haven't seen that in a long time.
That's gone in the mire. That's gone nowhere. And like, what's even more funny is like, I don't know whether it's media training or it's reality, but the character they've created for Jude Bellingham compared to what he sounds like in interviews, like a world away. They think he's a diva. They think he's a diver and a moaner and, a glory hunter or whatever. And in the interview, he speaks like so casually. Like, they can say what they want. I'm living the dream. I'm doing great. I'm earning my bucks. I'm playing for a good team. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, do you know what? He comes across so well in interviews, and like, especially when you see him on like CBS and chatting to the lads. Like, if they're a little bit jokey, he can just lock in on that sort of wavelength. Like, I think a lot of it is down to the style of the interviewer as well, because it's like, because I find that with like Bellingham, that like he's obviously, some people hate him, some people love him, but when he does talk, he's actually seems like a nice guy. Yeah. But I would like to see more of the kind of, maybe the CBS is a bad example because they can sometimes go a bit overboard, but just something that's a little bit like just looser, you know what I mean? And I think that brings out a lot out of players. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, do you know what I mean? It kind of makes them a bit more comfortable. It's just like a normal environment, not this like sort of question and answer type scenario sort of thing. But yeah, the art of the player interview is something that. Speaking of, actually, there was one thing that I wanted to ask you about. Does Curtis Jones have a stammer?
Sometimes
because I'm watching his interviews now, and I know he said in like 2019 or 2020, someone said, "Oh, I didn't realize he had a stammer. Good on him," sort of thing, and he quoted it saying like, "Oh, it's not a stammer. I was just nervous about being put on the spot." But every interview that I've seen him in, he seems to have a bit of a stammer. And I only ask because my eldest daughter has a stammer, and I would love to show her like how good he is at interviews. Just powers through the stammer. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And like, I don't know about, but like that endears him to me so much more when I see him, with a little bit of a speech
impediment, stuttering.
Speech impediment is that the word? I don't know, but do you know what I mean? When I see, but also he's another example of, a player who is not, he's like media trained, but he's kind of has his own thing. Like, I really liked his stuff about when Liverpool were in the shit, as he said. You never hear people say that.
Him, I do wonder with him though, because like, I almost feel he pauses and hesitates on purpose sometimes because he is so confident and cocky and arrogant in a good and bad way that there's so much he wants to say, but I feel as though he's holding him back, and he thinks for a second, he ponders whether he should outright say it or not. Because in the last interview, I don't know if you've seen it, he says like, I don't want to give it to someone who's less comfortable than me on the ball. I'm not going to lose the ball. I know I'm not going to be dispossessed. I know I'm a safe pair of legs and in possession. I know what I work hard in possession, and they trust me with the ball. So they give me the ball, and I don't have to give it to someone who's not as comfortable as I am in possession. And that is like,
I love that.
Exactly. That's confidence, arrogance. But I'm sure properly wanted to say, like, I'm one of the best in the Premier League at kicking the ball. You give me the ball anywhere, I'll do something with it. Maybe I'm Cujo, I'm Curtis Jones, I'm first name on the team sheet, I'm the scout in the team. You know, maybe he's thinking, pondering, and then keeps getting it level.
Yeah, but I like that. Like, what is it about? I mean, maybe it's just because he plays for the team that I support, but like, I find his confidence
endearing
to be like, yeah, get
exactly.
him. Whereas if it was someone else, I'd be like, this guy thinks he's so full of himself. I think it's because he doesn't play so regularly, but now he's not behind the door and saying like he said last week, the system works because I'm playing it. you know, this diamond system, whatever. Yeah, it works because I'm playing.
Yeah.
He's like, oh no, I'm just joking or whatever. But he's
a joker. He's a proper joker because he knows about the fan sentiment about him holding onto the ball too long, because he brought it up. He said some of the fans think I hold onto the ball too long, but it's actually because I want to make sure the ball 100% reaches the person, so I get the 100% option so that I complete 100% of my passes. And he knows.
Yeah. I think he's he's on his day, he's borderline press proof when he has the ball, I think, because I find him to be such a tidy player now at the minute, and I'm really liking him in the starting 11 for Liverpool as well. I think we play better with him. I mean, this may be where I come to you for a bit of tactical analysis, but he's sitting slightly deeper with Gravenberch. Is that the way they're setting up?
Absolutely. So
Gravenberch, I think since that, go on.
No, go for it.
Well, no, I was going to say, since that, it seems like it's gotten the best out of Kirkes, who's playing really well.
Yes.
The last couple of games. Who before then, honestly, I was like, why did we sign this guy? I don't see it in this guy at all. Now I see it, and I see how we'll be even better with when Frimpong comes back. And we're kind of set up a bit more for the wide players to go wide. And now, if I'm talking shy at any point, you stop me. But this is what it looks like to me, that with these two now in midfield, it gives the others license to kind of go wide and push up.
No, I agree. And the reason for that is because, unfortunately, McAllister this season hasn't been at the races in terms of on both transitions. He's just too slow and too leggy. And when they're counterattacking us on transition, he can't get. They bypass him so easily, which means that it's so easy for the opposition to surround Gravenberch and stop him from playing. But Jones is more dynamic than Maka. He's got more legs than Maka. He's actually better press resistant, and he can take the ball in more difficult situations, which means that with Jones and Gravenberch in front of the centre backs, it protects Van Dijk and Konate more. And what happens then is Kirkes realizes that Jones is in front of Van Dijk and it's more secure, and he holds position. Kirkes can actually go forward in the knowledge that Maka isn't as vulnerable in that position. Now, McAllister has passing range. He can play all areas of the midfield in 8, 6, and 10. But the confidence and the balance that Jones brings just allows Kirkes to have the confidence to go forward, knowing that the midfield is more balanced and the back line is more protected. And similarly, Gravenberch benefits as well, because now you can't play 1-on-1 against McAllister and then 2-on-1 against Gravenberch or 3-on-1 against Gravenberch. They both have opportunities to go and sit. So he adds a dynamism and the ability to take the ball anywhere. And when you put Wirtz in front of them, then literally you got 3 players that you can hit them the ball anywhere in any complex situation. And you know that Jones, Wirtz, and Gravenberch can probably worm their way out of it and do something productive. So it's that balance, dynamism, and flexibility, and it's kind of compounded. And stop me if I'm getting too excited by when Salah is not playing, right? Because Salah is a great player, but he's a right-sided inside forward only. When you got Sobosai there, who can interchange in the 6 and 8 and 10, and you've got Ekitike, who can roam and interchange more so than Isak. That's why we look so dynamic, because they can't contain us. We've got so many ballers.
Yeah, and there's so much kind of one goes out, the other goes in, and I find that with like Ekitike. Well, actually, first of all, with Jones being there. It also it's mad, and it isn't obviously just Jones in the team, and now everyone's playing great, but it's the system that is in place as well. But like we were even saying, like Konate even had a good game the last game or two, where he'd been really floundering. Kirkes, we were like, what's happening? So when Salah was there, when Gakpo was there, it seems night and day now since they've made that change. Salah's off to AFCON. Obviously, he wasn't playing, and that was the big media frenzy. And then Gakpo being injured kind of came at a good time, which is sounds bad to say, but like at the minute, I think we've found the right system to work. And I'm glad because I was really worried at one point. It was like Ekitike was clearly the informed striker, and Isak would be starting ahead, and I'm like, why are they doing that? You know, I mean, I'm sure Isak will come good, but this whole thing of like, well, he's the more expensive one, so we have to play him. Sorry, Ekitike, but you know, even though you're absolutely banging them in and you cost a pretty penny yourself, we'd look stupid if we don't play Isak.
It was bizarre.
And this, it didn't. It was pure bureaucracy. It seemed like, and it was not the way it should be. But Ekitike, now that they've come to their senses, I'm quite happy with how the team is kind of shaping up at the minute.
Agreed. And you know, that was a thing. The favoritism was a thing that turned a lot of Liverpool fans against Slot. It was the fact that he wouldn't introduce Chiesa. He would always start Gakpo on the left, Salah on the right, and Isak over Ekitike, informed players, even though Chiesa won Player of the Month, right? That was a thing that irked Liverpool fans the most, as well as the treatment of Joe Gomez, Endo, and Chiesa. But I think he's lucked into a solution, and with Salah's outburst, where he can play either his preferred or new way of playing and being flexible. And this, to bring it away from Liverpool slightly, this is Man United fans' biggest problem with Ruben Interim Amorim, that he's in love with his three at the back, two wing back systems, even against a 10-man opposition. The opposition know exactly how he's going to play, where the threats are, what he's trying to do with Dorgu on the left, or, you know, Dalot or whoever. They know exactly what he's trying to do week in, week out. Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, Kobe Mainoo being benched indefinitely because he said he's a replacement for Bruno Fernandes, but unfortunately Bruno Fernandes is playing. It's the same thing as Slot. Endo's a replacement for Gravenberch, but Gravenberch's always playing. So that's why they're like, damn it, Amorim, why? You know, so it's that.
I know.
It's the same feeling, right? Tactical inflexibility and playing the same players week in, week out.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, it's nice in one hand because you get to see all the Mark Goldbridge crash outs. They've done it again. They've done it again. Bloody hell. But it's like it's a weird one because it's like now it's like, say, Liverpool and Man United especially are kind of like, that fear factor is quite diminished now. You know what I mean? Like even on yesterday, the 4-4 against Bournemouth, it seemed like a pretty mental game. I just caught the highlights, but it just seems like there's so many clubs that are in, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like in transition or something, that it seems like everyone's going through
the motion,
a change at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Like there's no one settled club really at the minute. Maybe Arsenal.
Maybe Arsenal. Here's the feel good feeling, right? Here's the absolute feel good feeling. Do you remember? Was it last season? Might have been last season, where City had a horrendous run like run of form where they just lost, and Pep was being questioned. Similar to this season, Arne Slot's Liverpool lost. When Liverpool and Man City are on the losing streak, when they bounce back, they're still there or thereabouts for the Champions League places, not too far off the top. When Man United or Tottenham or Newcastle have a bad run of form, they're always near the relegation places. Liverpool are always just hanging thereabouts near the top of the races, same as Man City, even in a bad run of form. But United and Tottenham and Newcastle, when they have a bad run of form, they sink without a paddle straight to relegation zone.
Yeah. And it used to be like United the last couple of years have been like that. But I used to always think, and I say to my mate who is a United fan, where like it seemed like United are in crisis every week. And this is maybe before this season especially, but then you would look at the table and they'd be like 7th or something. I'm like, how the hell have they managed to still stay in the top half? You know what I mean? It seems like it's caught up with them now a little bit, that, you know, the form reflects or the table reflects where they are. But they always seem to fail upwards, where I remember there was one year they finished 2nd or 3rd, and I'm like, how in, like, it was a couple of years ago, and I was like, how the hell? Like, I feel like there's this constant narrative of United of, you know, they're a team in crisis or they're, you know, not good enough. And they still, maybe their wins just kind of get brushed under the rug a little bit, and everyone loves a good United loss and to pile on and things like that. But with Spurs, like, I'm kind of with like Thomas Frank. I really like Thomas Frank. Same. So it makes me like Spurs a bit more. It's mad the difference a manager can make. It's like we were saying with Arsenal and Arteta. But and I just really like Thomas Frank, and I kind of want Spurs to do well. I want him to do well at Spurs.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Not too well, but well enough, but not but not directly challenging us in any way. But what's your thoughts on him? What's your thoughts on him?
So historically, he's always been very complimentary of Liverpool, complimentary of Klopp. He was in the running for the Liverpool seat as well. I think he's a good manager without the right players. These Tottenham players cannot buy consistency for love nor money, right?
Yeah.
And then you got a few bad eggs in there, like Yves Bissouma, who once upon a time was linked to Liverpool from Brighton. Brighton have a knack of finding these, Bissouma, Baleba, Caicedo, these kind of, robust box-to-box midfielders. But I like him as a manager, but I think Tottenham really need to give him a proper chance, 2 more windows or something to really put his mark in it, because what can you do with that squad? Tottenham punch above their weight when they had Bale, Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, right? Real star players. And without them now, they're floating in the mire in inconsistency, right? They're just not there. And then you see that, like, when a team is formulated well, you don't need class players. Look at Sunderland led by Granit Xhaka, right? What a job they're doing. So, you build around a proper core of players who know what they're doing, have enough quality about them. And that's the thing about the transfer window coming up, right? There does seem to be a certain lack of available quality for people to buy, because the same names come out every week. Semenyo, Mark Guehi. Mark Guehi. Where's the rest of the talent, right? You have to really put on your scouting goggles to find them.
Yeah, like there's no... I'm trying to think who else is there, particularly in the league, who people would be clamoring for, but there's not really, because they've all moved recently.
It's too expensive. Wharton, Elliot Anderson, they'd just be so expensive.
I mean, it seems like Harvey Elliott's not in the plans at Villa, so people are saying bring him back. But I mean, how much do you think a player like Harvey Elliott, say if Spurs wanted to sign Harvey Elliott, what transfer fee would you put on him? Like
with this failed loan and lack of appearances, and
that hasn't helped him.
That's why Villa don't want to sign him. He's not worth the 35 million to them, because Buendia has played himself back into form, right? So Harvey Elliott, I think you probably, and it's harsh, I love Harvey Elliott, but realistically, probably 15 million pounds rising to 25 million pounds, depending on clauses, because the biggest issue of Harvey Elliott is not his quality, it's the fact he's got no position. He hasn't got the pace or physicality to play in a right wing forward. He's got a quality left foot, but he's got no pace and he's got no physicality, and you can't really start him, because I don't think that he's got the stamina to really endure for the 90 minutes. He needs to play in a good team where the technical ability, like a Man City kind of team, and a team built around him, but there's no team that I feel would start him on the right wing or in the 10th spot in the Premier League. So it's so hard for him.
It seems harsh to even say, because he's so talented, but would he be better off at, say, a championship club and be like a starter? You know what I mean? I don't know. Is that beneath him?
Maybe abroad. I think abroad. So somewhere like Germany or Italy.
There is more. Yeah. There's a lot more British players going abroad.
Yes.
But yeah, somewhere in like Germany, or even a few Irish players I've noticed now going abroad to, you've Evan Ferguson at Roma, and a few things. Troy Parrott, of course, Irish legend Troy Parrott. But yeah, I mean, I would just like to see him
happy
playing regularly, because that's an interesting point. He doesn't quite have a position, and the positions that he would normally be kind of a decent enough fit for require like a bit more pace. And it's rare that you see a player so young, because he is still like 23. He's still very young. It's rare to see a player that young that doesn't really have a lot of pace. I mean, he's not terribly slow, but he's not your pacey sort of wing player. He's not a runner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's not an athlete. And this sounds like ludicrous to say, right? Because his potential is definitely higher when you put them together. He almost needs to follow Harry Wilson's trajectory, like Harry Wilson at Fulham. But the thing that Harry Wilson has for him, right, is the left foot set piece dead ball ability. He can sweep in the long shots. He can hit a quality free kick. He's a set piece maestro. Harry Wilson is probably a similar career path that Harvey Elliott kind of needs. And I do feel like a lot of these Liverpool wonder kids slightly overhyped in terms of they were so good as impact players and coming through the ranks. Ryan Brewster, you're thinking of or Ovi Ajaria, loads of Jordan Ibe. They got the physical out of Ben Doak as well, but they don't seem to have the ability to break through as a starter, like become a real prominent starter for a team. They're like sometimes in the first team substitute, sometimes first team substitute. So
I would wonder with some players, would you like maybe Divock Origi fits this mold, but in terms of players who have made their peace with the fact that they're not like they would rather be an impact, feel good vibes player for a big team, win trophies, be adored by the fans, but your minutes are limited, but you're still obviously getting paid every week. You're still hanging out with the and you're happy to be a squad player, and you like the squad, you like the city, you like everything. You're just happy with like I feel like there's this onus on a lot of players to be well how am I going to be the best ever if I don't start all the time? And that's great for the elite players, but it's a lot of players need that mindset, even if they're not currently the best ever, to think that they'll be. But I do think there's a subset of players who, I'm not even saying Harvey Elliott is in this, but I'm like, could you just be so much happier? I look at even certain players, like even maybe Henderson's a bad example, but like I always think the way he left Liverpool was a real sort of like, oh, it's a shame he kind of left. So he was kind of like ushered out the door almost because he wasn't starting. I'm like, if players could just get more comfortable with their current position, in their career, and just think, if I could just, I'm happy to be just one of the lads here. I feel like there'd be a lot more happy players like that. I don't know. I could be talking shit.
It's a personality thing. Like someone like Joe Gomez is happy to do his part, happy to be part of the team. But then you got players like Henderson and Harvey Elliott, right? They love football. They just want to be on the pitch and play football. It's the Andy Carroll kind of thing. Don't care about the wage, just wants to play football. So it's different. Henderson's at one scale because he's old, but he just wants to play. The remainder of his career, he just wants to play. And similar, he's got the leadership and influence in dressing room, so he will play. Same as Milner, right? Milner more bit part because he's even older than Henderson. But then you got Harvey Elliott, who needs to play because he's got undoubted potential. He can be a difference maker, but he needs to find the right time in the right moment, the right squad with the right manager that will afford him playing time at the appropriate level so that he can play, be happy, and hopefully increase his world standing and reach his potential.
Yeah, true. I mean, he should. Like Harvey Elliott, I think should, because I mean, he was very close at one point to being, I feel, like a proper starter for Liverpool, and it just didn't quite. I mean, he's probably going to end up going back anyway, isn't he? Because I don't think Villa don't have him in his plan in their plans at all.
It's a tough one, It's very, very tough because Liverpool have negotiated a deal with a 35 million clause if he starts 10 games. Unai Emery's not going to play him because he doesn't want Villa to waste 35 million. It's a shame to say waste, but at the same time, he can't join another British club or European club. He can't join a European club on loan because he's already registered with Liverpool and Villa apparently, and Arne Slott's never playing Elliott anyway. So
he's stuck in. It's a shame. Like he went there because he was probably thinking, "Oh, look, I need to play. I'm good enough to play." And now here's another year of his career wasted, essentially. Because he's not playing a Villa. He can't play anywhere else. Slot isn't going to play him. So it's like, how does a player that good? I mean, look, he's not like in the elite rank, but he's good enough to start for a Premier League club. Or just some top division club. It's such a shame that something like that is just slipping through the cracks.
It's the Buendia effect. They panicked last minute. They brought Harvey Elliott in. Buendia was massively off form coming back from injury, but now he's absolutely lighting up. I always thought Emi Buendia was a quality player with real creativity and skill. And why spend another £35 million on someone who's equivalent or maybe not even as good as Buendia's current shit hot streak is at the moment? It's kind of like Tyler Morton lighting up at Lyon at the base where he gets real trust, real ability to play, but he's a metronome controller. And Harvey Elliott, in those attacking spaces, you have to be a difference maker in the sparse attacking spaces. He just doesn't have the pace. He has the delivery, but not the pace. So
it's a shame. It's a shame. But
there's silky players though that are taking opportunity. Like this Eagle player is one of the top scorers in the Premier League. Is it Brentford that he plays for? Yeah, he's taking his chances. He's proving robust, a battering ram, finishing off his chance at Evan Nielsen, scoring bits and spurts and pieces as well. There's these silky Mavericks up front that are quietly making the impact.
Yeah, that's it. And I feel like because I'm so tunnel visioned on my own club that I won't notice it, and then I look at the goal scoring stats and I'm like, Jesus, where you realize, oh, he's actually banging them in. But yeah, Igor looks all right, and I'm trying to think who else was there. Someone at no, I was thinking Brentford, but that's not right.
So I reeled them off for you. I reeled them off. The top goal scorer, 17 goals, Erling Haaland. Igor Thiago, 11 goals for Brentford is second. Semenyo is third. Semenyo's in third with 7. Phil Foden, 7. Hugo Ekitike, 7. Daniel Welbeck, 7. Mateta, 7. Richarlison, 6. Mbeumo, 6. Bruno Fernandes, 5. Harry Wilson, 5. Pedro Neto, 5. Morgan Rogers, lots of people on 5. Bruno Guimaraes, Voltemada, Bowen, Krupi, Fleming, Dominic Calvin-Lewin's having a renaissance as well. So there's these
he's got 4 in a row.
Yeah, it's these people that don't consistently score, but it's a low scoring season. There's not like great strikers, like Van Nistelrooy, Henry, and banging them in.
Yeah, I think at 6, is this like Richarlison's best season ever? Yeah, because every time I see him scoring, I feel like he scores the 1 in a 3-1 loss. Like it's never, if he ever does score the winner, there's an equalizer coming in a matter of seconds. Yeah. Don't worry about that. But I feel like he's the scorer of the most unimportant goals in the Premier League. You know what I mean? He's not a match winner, like a match winning goal scorer. He's kind of like he'll get you the goal in a 1-1 or a 2-2 or a 2-1 loss or something like that.
Agreed.
But yes, even 6 for him is good for him because he couldn't buy a goal last year.
Oh no, absolutely. He's not natural. I don't think he's a natural sharpshooter. But speaking of someone who's making impact at the moment, did you see Hugo Ekitike's own goal? Not Hugo Ekitike, Voltemada. Nick Voltemada's own goal.
Yes. Oh. I did. What a finish.
Cracking finish past his own keeper.
Absolute. I mean, striker's instinct just takes over. He's near a goal, the ball comes in, I'm putting it in.
Exactly. Doesn't matter which goal. Any hole's goal.
It's like the Forrest Gump where he's playing American football and he's running the wrong way and they are like, no, that way. It's like just that striker's instinct just takes over. It's like, I'm putting it in the goal. I don't care what you say. I'm putting it in the goal.
He's brought a Messi. He will make an impact.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, and for that to be the only goal in such a big match like Sunderland Newcastle, which, by the way, as a slight aside, I've always heard it referred to as the Tyne Weir Derby, and it's only this season I'm hearing Weir Tyne Derby. Obviously, because
changing the gods.
We're at home. Have you ever heard this before? It was like my entire life. It felt like it was Tyne Weir.
Yeah, I've heard Tyne Weir. I haven't heard the Weir Tyne before. I haven't even heard it this season. That's
Weir Tyne. That's a new thing, one of the new innovations that football has brought.
Well, they are copying each other, right? They did the celebration. They did the team gathering in front of the opposition team celebration, and completely mocked the fans.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. So that made headlines as well.
Did you? Oh, can I ask you, just as a slight aside? Did you see, or did we talk about it, the quickly disbanded Sky Sports Halo, where they had this like football for girls? Did you see this?
No. Tell me about it.
Oh my God! Sorry, it lasted a weekend, and it was a new TikTok channel that Sky launched a couple of weeks ago,
right,
called Sky Sports Halo, and it was basically, I mean, they started it with like they opened the account and they had like 8 videos, and it was like Haaland running on goal, but it was like sped up in a kind of a meme sort of way, and the caption was like, when the matcha and hot girl walk kicks in, and everything is in pink sparkly subtitles. It's like women's players as Barbies. It was and like women everywhere were like, this is incredibly offensive. It was like, why can't women just enjoy the football that's there? Like, there is football already there. It's like, it's the most ill thought out, and like everything about it was like, like one of the first comments under one of the posts was like, how do you do, fellow Gen Z girls? Because it was such a misstep. And apparently it was by a woman or women who started it, but it was such a misstep, and then so Halo came out and said, "Okay, we've listened. We got it wrong. We will be shutting down the account." It was just, I mean, the memes of it were like, you'd have like two girls talking. This is like making fun of it. You'd have two girls talking. It's like Haaland was definitely offside, and the girl's like, "Huh?" And then there's like, "Oh, sorry," and then it was pink sparkly subtitles. Haaland was offside. Now I understand. I mean, it was just like you think for stuff like that, like they would have had to have meetings about this launch of a new channel. Like it's a Sky Sports channel,
yes,
and it was just I laugh every time I think about it. It was the most ridiculous concept.
Absolutely. And on that thought as well, we'll end it with the final thing that I read today was the Messi in India parade for his celebration superstar career parade. Some organizer, this promoter in India, is on the run. He's like a fugitive now, and they're trying to get him for scam promotions or whatever. He got the Indians to pay for this Messi final farewell tour or something. So he went into the stadium, and straight away when they're parading him around the stands, he was surrounded by bodies and bodies of bodyguards and like guardsmen are huge, and Messi's small, right? So no one in the crowd could even see Messi. So they paid the tickets to see bodies upon bodies surrounding Messi. And when they finally saw him, right, he like played football with this host who was in full kit. Like they don't want to say like full kit wanker or something like in betweeners. Is this guy in full kit celebrity. And he tried to pass the ball to Messi, and he missed Messi every time. He like booted it left, booted it right, and Messi's like playing with kids. Like, all right, I'll go chase the ball, and I'll give it back to you. And he boots it over there, and then Messi goes chase the ball. And then that's it. That's the end of the show. And everyone's like, "Boo!" and throwing trash, and we got scammed.
I thought you were going to say the Messi wasn't going to be there at all, but at least he was there. That's so funny. That he's on the run, this guy, as a result of this. Oh my god! And like, did he plan this whole thing? Like, did he set it up?
Someone said it was a good idea. They probably paid him to do this event or whatever, and he had no idea what was going on. He just probably got the outline of it and sure, I'll be the fan in India, and then it's just a complete farce.
What an absolute shit show that is. I mean, like Messi. I don't know if Messi like. Is Messi also an egotistical like megastar? He's obviously a megastar, but would he fall in the Ronaldo, Mbappe, possibly even Salah levels of like ego and demands and things like that?
I don't think so. He just seems like a normal lad who really, really likes football. I think he's a decent chap overall, really. So I think he's the one in a billion that is just such a normal guy. If you didn't know he was the best footballer of all time, you just think, who is this little midget?
He's so unassuming, yeah. So there you go. You can put that footies on stamp, seal of approval. Messi is an all right bloke.
Yes,
the footies on.
Exactly. And speaking of all right blokes, if you guys enjoyed this show with two all right blokes right here in our pink, make sure to smash the like, subscribe if you haven't already. Any final words, Andy?
I'm on the spot now. Thanks for watching.
Love it. Good man. We is doing the business here on the Footies On. Join us every week for a weekly show, Tuesday onwards, and we got a very special midweek ep coming out very soon, don't we?
Absolutely. It was a lot of fun to record. It was a lot of fun to edit, and I can't wait to show you. It should be out, if not tomorrow, then Wednesday.
Good stuff. Until next time, peace.
Peace.